Time is running out. The apocalypse is near. aPODcalyptic Times, the lighter side of the end, is here to usher in a new age of understanding. With your host, Travis Spencer.
Hello and welcome to aPODcalyptic Times. First of all, I'd like to thank our new announcer, Eric Delgado, for lending us his golden pipes. Real quick, Eric, what do you think will be the apocalypse?
The Kardashians.
Gotta say, can't argue with that one.
Bienvenidos a Tiempos Apocalípticos.
And now for some news. Angelina Jolie and Myriad genetics. She had a mutation in the BRCA1 and the BRCA2 gene. Myriad genetics owns this gene. This gene, both of them.
How much money would you take to take off a piece of your butt? Like,
yeah, but that's not the point.
But maybe
she would.
The weird thing is when you follow the money, Myriad stock rose to a 3-year high of $34.70, and the volume of trading on stock doubled.
This is a celebrity. This is someone who's known for their beauty and their body and this and that. If they're willing to do this,
personal thing, like why is she allowing people to do this story on her?
She's never run away from fame in her entire life. We can be honest.
Yeah,
about that.
and if
like that doesn't
honestly,
make her the worst person, but we get that.
From her point of view, though, like maybe she thinks it's a really good thing, and she's gonna spread the message to other women to have the same thing done. You know, but I mean, we do know that like the Supreme Court has already ruled in favor of patents on life.
Yeah.
In previous cases.
So
and Clarence Thomas is a former Monsanto lawyer.
Right. Are we going to see the new breast? That is the first question on my mind.
It's time for On the John with John Derby.
It's my favorite time of year. It's time for The Bachelorette. And I don't mean that shitty show on ABC. I mean Dwight Howard's free agency. That piece of shit. All that guy cares about is being loved. He doesn't care about rings. He cares about money, but not even that much. All he wants is to be loved and fucking placated and stroked and caressed. He is the world's largest baby. Could you imagine what his mom had to go through to birth those large shoulders and he's still crying? As if the teat has been ripped from his mouth? Here's a list. Joakim Noah, Mark Gasol, Roy Hibbert, Al Jefferson, and Nikola Pekovic with a bag of Fritos. These are all things that I would rather have than Dwight Howard. They are all vastly superior to what he brings to the table. The Howardly Lion, as I call him, because he has no courage. Largest shoulders on the planet, and he wants no weight on them. Biggest back in all of sports, and a team can't even fucking fit on there. I hate Dwight Howard. All he does is throw out the names of other superstars to find out who loves him the most, and then he jerks off that team acting like, oh, that's where I'm gonna go because Darren Williams said that I'm a good player. Well, James Harden's a star on the rise, so maybe I want to go to Houston. I wish nobody would sign Dwight Howard. He's not a winner, he's not a leader, he's not a champion, he is a gigantic baby. If I heard that he was a vegetarian, that'd be the least surprising thing I ever heard. Because I don't know how else you act like that large of a vagina unless you don't eat meat, and you don't win games, and you can't shoulder the load in any capacity. I don't want him dead, I just want him out of the league. I want to be clear on that. This is not a threat to Dwight Howard because he's still a giant of a man and I don't want to have to deal with that. But I'm so sick of the conversation that we are forced to have every year because this guy can't commit to just being a winner. Thank you.
Welcome to aPODcalyptic Times.
Our guest tonight is Nicky Watts. She's an American-born artist who utilizes fashion, photography, sculpture, painting, and performance in her work, which has been seen all around the U.S., including Chicago, Las Vegas, Tampa Bay, and Boston, as well as internationally in Guatemala. Her latest work, Patterns Are Made to Be Broken, is a book and a documentary which launches with a series of performances, exhibitions, and talks in 30 cities throughout the U.S. and Canada. Nicky Watts, welcome to the show.
Hello. Patterns Are Made to Be Broken is the 30-city tour for conceptual art and a book. So it's both. And for the conceptual art part, it'll be a series of pop-up exhibitions and performances. So every city has a unique art event that could range from setting art up and doing a performance in front of it for maybe 4 hours, or in Seattle it's going to be a 4-day performance where I create these boxes. So every city has a unique event depending on the community. So the purpose of it is to really understand the communities, get to know people, and be working on a behavior pattern of my own while I'm doing that. So I'll be talking to people that are there about a behavior pattern that I choose for the tour. So it was going to be isolation. I'm now actually... I just made a big shift in the tour, so I'm giving myself, it was going to launch in 2013, I'm giving myself a year to really get it to the place that I want it to be at. And so I'm dealing with the isolation that I was going to deal with on the tour right now in a series of performances. So there'll be a performance in July in LA, another one in Fresno, and August 17th is the Fresno one.
Okay, and you really have to tell everybody what this is about, because this is like, I had no idea. I was like, isolation. Okay, so how are you going to live? You're going to do a 2-week live-in, right?
Yeah.
Where you're going to isolate yourself from...
But what I'm actually going to do is be surrounded by a plexiglass box. And so for 2 weeks, whenever I travel, there will be a separation between me and the people that I associate with. So depending on the situation, it'll either be this huge box or it'll just be a box on my head, depending what's actually physically possible for me to do. So when I go to work, I'll only, I commute to Orange County, so I can't bring my like big giant one.
But you'll be getting on the bus or
on the train,
on the train with a box on your head. Yeah. Completely clear, or is it just gonna be clear in the front?
Completely clear, but it'll have joints, so it'll have...
You'll have joints? Nice.
Yeah, like
you're hotboxing it?
I can't just have it clear. There will be like metal, brackets and things like that.
Yeah, to hold it together.
Yeah, the idea is that it's clear, but it's still a boundary. So like...
able to communicate still, or no?
It's going to have a little opening that I can then open, and I can choose for it to either be open or closed.
Okay. So you can eat through that.
I can eat through that.
Well, yeah,
can you hear through it regardless?
Yeah, it's going to be open at the top.
Oh, okay.
So that I can hear through it and breathe.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, I like the breathing thing.
What do you think will be the apocalypse? How's it all going to end?
All right. I think that the way it's all going to end is we're just all going to poison ourselves, really. So I don't think that we're even going to see the end, like this big blow up of the world. I don't think zombies are going to come and eat us. I think that we're kind of already zombies in a lot of ways.
Right.
Like, our society is already like creating these zombies.
Eat McDonald's, watch TV, go to work.
Oh yeah.
Just in that pattern, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you don't do anything different. 5 years later, it looks exactly the same.
Mm-hmm. And we're putting all these chemicals into our bodies, GMOs and all that kind of crap.
Monsanto.
Yep.
Yeah.
All I see is a majestic American flag waving in front of me.
Is it in tatters yet? Is it burning yet?
No, it's glory.
Still going. So you think the human race will die out before the Earth dies out? But don't you think there'll be, people who aren't stuck in those patterns, that have broken that pattern, that will evolve to the next stage of evolution?
Yeah, probably.
So somebody's going to be around, right?
It's not going to be you, dude. Quit leading.
Come on, I've been meditating like once a month. I'm getting there, guys.
He wants you to say him, but don't buy into that.
I think the aliens are going to come down, and I've already got an implant in me, so it's just a matter of time before they come back and say what's up.
There's not one guy with a blue microphone who hosts a show that maybe is out of the Matrix.
Yeah, have you ever seen the Matrix?
Yes.
You ever get real? No, not the movie. We talked about this. Not the movie. You ever get real high and sit and meditate, and you can actually see the Matrix. You can actually get through it.
Now, a step down with David Duarte.
So yesterday we lost a rock and roll icon and a personal major influence for me with Ray Manzarek, of the keyboardist for The Doors. He was The Doors were one of the first bands that I heard that really, in rock and roll, that made me want to actually play keyboard as well as guitar, because the keyboard was so prominently showcased, and I mean, Light My Fire, that intro riff to Light My Fire is probably the single most famous keyboard riff in rock and roll history. Everybody recognizes that riff, and Ray was quite an inspirational person. Not just a great musician. So I just
How old was he?
74.
74.
So for a rock star to make it to 74,
that's actually 125 in rock star years.
Yeah,
that's pretty good.
Yeah, and the big C caught up with Ray.